The following program, paid for by Right Path Real Estate, does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or
Have you
ownership
seen
of this
these
station.
like that?
It's time to get on the right path
change the
with
weight.
Right
Yeah, they're a
Path
little bit
Real
long
Estate
ways,
Radio with Tom Perry. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today.
Welcome to the show. Oh man, my voice is a little.
Get ready. The guide that will put your fears behind you is on the air now.
Mike's on.
At 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Tom Perry.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Right Path Real Estate Radio. 713-785-1817. If you want to give us a call, ask any kind of questions. My name is Tom Perry. I'm the host of the show. Joined live in the studio with my good friend, my brother from another mother, my co-host, Mr. Daniel G.
Happy hump day.
Yeah, right. Welcome. How are you
Good
doing?
morning, man. I'm amazing.
Hey, thanks for doing the show yesterday.
Absolutely.
I was in eviction court yesterday, and, another situation. It's interesting because we went to eviction court, and this guy was supposed to have his attorney there, and my attorney was there, and I was there, and then his wife was there, and then we were, prior to appearing before the JP, we offered an agreement. This guy actually says he he wants to buy the property, and we've heard this kind of stuff before, right? And I said, look, if he goes, well, can you give me some time to pay? And I said, well, if you're talking about years, no, I mean, I can't. But if you're talking about you can come up with the money in 30 days, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. So I wanted to work out this arrangement with him, like, hey, if you'll agree that that we have the possession order, just like we get a judgment for the possession order, then I won't exercise the writ for 30 days.
Normally you wouldn't show up to eviction court.
No,
right?
normally
It's
wouldn't.
not
Right.
the highest and best use of your time, but you were.
And we've got an attorney.
You were working on another agreement that
Correct.
you wanted to be there to negotiate and make sure all that was done correctly.
Yeah, because I want to give the guy an opportunity if he can come up with the money. You never know who what family or relationships that kind of stuff that they have. So I wanted to give him that chance. So then after I negotiated, he said, yeah, let me run it by my wife. And I said, is your attorney on the way? And he said, yeah, he's supposed to be. It turns out his attorney never showed up, never answered his phone, never answered his text. And then his attorney had also been in contact with my attorney. And so my attorney tried calling him, tried texting him, never responded. So then I was like, well, something's going on here. And he goes, well, my wife is on her way, and so I want to talk to her about it. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. So there really wasn't any more value that I could add. So at that point in time, my attorney said, hey, look, if you need to get out of here, go do something more important. He said, I've got this. I'll draft it up. If he signs it, fine. Well, his wife never shows up.
Of course.
And then he started talking all kinds, a little bit of I won't call it crazy talk, but just I don't understand, this or that, and so so my attorney tried to explain it to him, and so long story short, he made the decision he didn't want to sign. So then, okay, so my attorney's there, so he's like, all right, well then let's go before the JP, right?
Yeah.
So JP, calls the case up, and one of the advantages of having an attorney is you don't typically have to wait in line. So I was already gone at this point, and my attorney is texting me, but not calling because he's not going to call from the courtroom. And he said, "Hey, we went before the JP, and essentially, we got a default judgment because he doesn't have an argument for not being evicted." So then later, the guy calls me, maybe an hour later, and he said, "Hey, are you still willing to work out that agreement?" Because I'm going to instruct my attorney to file an appeal. And I'm like, well, here's how it works. I'm not going to work with you on one hand and then fight you on the other hand, right? I mean, you've got no legal basis for an appeal. There's no reason whatsoever that you would
other than to waste time and
other than
fees.
That you don't. He's supposed to post a $4,000 bond in order to appeal.
Yeah.
But if you don't have any money, then you can file what's called a pauper's bond.
Yes.
Which basically means that you're just clogging up the system with a frivolous.
Yeah.
And you're just kicking the can down the road. He has 7 days to appeal, and so he's dragging it out another 10 days or something, and he will lose on appeal there
of course,
because he's got no legal basis. So I said, look, if you're going to drag this out based on appeal, then no, I'm not going to work with you. But if you don't appeal, which basically he's got 7 days to appeal, which is like till a week from yesterday.
Okay.
And so if he doesn't appeal, then we get the writ of possession order. And so we get the possession order yesterday. We get the writ of possession comes 7 days later after the appeal process. And I said, look, I'll hold off on executing the writ of possession until the 30 days has passed. And if you come up with the money, I'll deed it over to you.
Now, is that 30 days starting yesterday?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And so he goes, okay, that sounds fair. So he said, I'm not going to appeal. And I said, well, I mean, every single thing so far that I've told you that was going to happen, it's happened. I told you that, these things would happen. You said, no, I'm going to, it's not going to happen. I'm like, well, and then who was right?
Yeah.
And so I say that only because, we follow a process. It's systematic. And so after that, I have a camera at a property out on the east side of town. And recently we went to mediation on that piece of property, and can't really talk about the details of that, but I had it hadn't been mowed in like 6 months.
Yeah, it's like 7 acres.
It's 4 acres.
4 acres.
Yeah, 4 acres.
Where am I getting 7 from?
I think it's 4. I don't even recall anymore. It's one of many. But what I can tell you is the grass was about 4 feet.
Yeah.
You're not going to go out there with an electric Toro.
No.
And a lawn boy.
You're definitely not.
Not going to go out there with a lawn boy, and so I actually tracked down, and I'll give a shout out to this company because they're amazing. Extreme Underbrushing, and so they clear land and all that kind of stuff. And I've seen brush hogs. My dad at one time actually owned a brush hog on the back of a Kubota tractor. And I thought that's what they would go out there with. You can normally cut it down, but your turn radius and all that. But I've never seen a device like this before, and I've got video from our cameras of it. And but it actually went out there with a skid steer, which is the generic name for a Bobcat,
Yep.
and because there wasn't a Bobcat brand. And skid steers come with either wheels or they come with tracks.
Yeah.
And I've taken pool. Back in my fast track days, we would demo pools and we would rent a skid steer and use that to get the jackhammer attachment.
Did you drive that yourself?
You know it. Of course you know it.
Of course you did.
Not the best use of my time, but come on.
Damn it, it's fun.
I know, right? Right. Back then it was, you do it once or twice and then you get that out of your system.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty good. You get good with this. You're not a 10 right off the bat, but anyhow. So they had this attachment instead of having it has the arms that go up and down. But man, this had this wheel. It was about a 2-foot diameter wheel that just spins like crazy, like a sphere.
Yeah.
And it just chops the snot. I mean, they can raise it, go down from the top, or just can use it as a mower.
Wow.
And they did a fantastic job. And so spent all day out there. It was like $1,600 to clear. And then as it turns out, the guy that was mowing it, he's been looking for some acreage, wanted to build like a barn dominium, and that's essentially what this property is.
Basically a barn dominium.
He fell in love with the property, knew all about how it was manufactured. I mean, it's like he knew how it was the construction. He's like, oh my God, this is like 90% of the way done, exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm like, all right, well, I mean, it's going back on the market.
Yeah, you can buy it,
and it's a fraction of the cost. And he goes, well, it'd be more expensive if it was over there. I'm like, yeah, it would if it was across the river. Yeah, it's more expensive over there, right? But that's one of the reasons why we have it at the price that we said. Yeah, it'd be between $500,000 and $750,000 if it was over there, and instead it's only like $275,000.
Yeah.
And you need $60,000 in rehab or so you'd be in it for like less than $350,000 for 4 acres on the San Jacinto River.
Yeah.
And then so you never and then I was gonna also share. So my daughter's got a bearded dragon, and I love bumping into people that have a passion for something that you have a passion about.
Yeah.
And in fact, even last night, talking with Annie, she's the owner of Extreme Underbrushing, and she says, well, hey, need to get you paid. And I'm like, well, we can. She said, can I come down and pick up a check? And I'm like, you can, by all means, come by our office. But she lives in Cleveland. And which is that's
not super far, but kind of far.
Kind of far. And I said, or we can email you a check. And she's like, what? Yeah, we email checks to our vendors.
Of course.
And she goes, I've never heard of that. I'm like, yeah, it was
2019.
I don't know actually how it's done. I don't know the match, but
well, you have to hit send at some point.
I assume so. I'm not the one that actually does it, but I know that we got all that set up, and we deposit our own checks right here. We've got like a little check depositor thing for our commercial checks. And so she's like, wow, I've never heard of emailing checks. And she says, so what exactly do you do? And I started explaining what RightPath does. And she goes, I've got a friend of mine that, he's flipped like 2 or 3 houses and he wants me to go in with him on the next house that we do. And I go, well, I mean,
2 minutes.
And I realized that in about 4 or 5 minutes, you can give a 30,000 foot overview on the flip process and what to do, what not to do. And so spent maybe 5 minutes on the phone while I was going through Whole Foods last night with my daughter and after her volleyball workout, I should say, and scrimmage. And then, so my daughter's got this bearded dragon. And it's been hard to find mealworms. You may not know that, but
I did not realize it was becoming
I've been
an
to
issue.
PetSmart. I've been to Petco. I've been to several different pet stores, and they're like, "Yeah, we're out of mealworms. Truck's supposed to coming in next Friday. We were there on Friday. Yeah, sorry, truck was supposed to be here." And go to another. I think it's Pet Supplies Plus or something like that. Very knowledgeable people there, so I'll go ahead and give them a shout out. And sure enough, the guy, this cashier, he actually knows. He said, "Look, they're supposed to come down in refrigerated trucks, but a lot of the shippers are cutting corners. They're coming down," and he said it's so hot outside, and the mealworms are basically baking.
Yeah.
And he said we've got some in stock. And then he said, well, how big's your bearded dragon? And so I show him a picture of my bearded dragon sitting on on my shirt, right above the logo. I wasn't wearing a logo shirt. It was Saturday, and he said. And he goes, oh, you do something in real estate? I said, yeah. I said, I flip houses, I wholesale houses, I buy and hold houses. And he goes, oh, man, I've been wanting to learn. I'm like, tune into the radio show. You can get free education. Yeah. So you never know. Here's what I can say is it doesn't matter what your logo looks like. I mean, I don't think our logo is all that fancy. I think it looks very professional.
Yeah, it's professional.
But the main thing is that it's large and you can see it's very easy. It doesn't say, ABC Amalgamated Incorporated, in which case people it says
you can look at our logo and you know what we're involved in.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. We want to talk on the other side of the break. It's all about you. What do you need to do to take the next step? You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio.
Hey, good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Ed. Good morning, Christina. Good morning, Tammy.
Speed of a jet to fund your investment property. Jet lending.
Good morning, Tex Anaconda and Dominic Devaho and Flipping Houses in My Hair on Instagram.
Jet lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet lending will help you evaluate your deals for free.
Flipping Houses in My Hair.
Give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes, binders, and the agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. It's there for you.
Top
Call
fan.
Houston's leading real estate
That's
risk
something new that they
expert.
just started. I don't know how any of that
Benchmark
works.
Insurance
That's
Group
pretty
of
cool,
Texas.
man.
281-569-4353.
Congratulations on your little logo and your little
That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
You think Andy Helms would have
Are
one?
you looking for an investor-friendly
He's almost
general
required to be on
contractor
every
for
day.
your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab,
I was trying to see if I had Top Fan. I don't have Top Fan either, man.
Finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
Man, I feel so
No more
good.
managing it
I think I'm going to have to
yourself.
move
No
to the
more doing the
720
work
workout.
Fast Track
Yeah.
Remodeling
Yeah,
really
3 days
does
a week.
manage it all.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
So
to
give
do
us
that.
a call
10
today
seconds.
at
I went this morning and I just
742
killed it in that workout.
9992.
Yeah, new gains.
Again, that's
I've been
832-742-9992.
are you serious?
Or reach us on the
Way to
web
go,
at
man.
Working out in the morning and in
fasttrackremodeling.com.
the evening.
Good for you.
This is business.
You're going to need to
11:10.
get some new shirts.
I will at some point. I'll try to wait and skip it.
Yeah.
Mike's on.
Right. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. I'd really like this show to be about you, the listeners, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Instagram, whatever the platform is. I know a lot of you do not listen to the show live from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. because I look at how many people are on, like, right now, and then I look at how many views, like, over the next day, and it's like it goes from, like 20 or 30 now up to like 700 over the next 24 hours. And I know a lot of people also listen on AM 1110, and so thanks for that. And then
millions.
Oh, come on. And really, you know what I want what I want people to recognize is, look, there is nothing special about me other than the fact that I bring a lot of energy and passion, and I love other people.
Yes.
But outside of that, there's not anything that I do on a daily basis that, I'm not the Michael Jordan of real estate, right?
There's no superhuman abilities.
I'm just, you look at me, I'm like 5'5", about 140 pounds soaking wet. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying. So it's not, it's not like I walk in the room and I'm super intimidating. Yeah. It's not like I overpower sellers and say, you got to give me this, it's none of that. I'm not out there banging on doors. It's like, I'm not just going to overpower people. Yeah. And what I can tell you is that my mom instilled confidence in me at a very early age. I mean, I've had people ask me, hey, were you always small? And I was like, no, when I was in elementary school,
I was a kid.
I was 6 foot.
Turned 22 and just shrunk.
Well, what happened is that my mom was separating whites and darks, and she just threw me in the dryer, and I shrunk. So,
you've always been small.
Yeah, people ask them.
That makes sense to ask a big person that. Hey, you always been that side? You always,
Yeah.
Yeah. Since I was a little kid, you haven't because you were born at some point, right?
Yeah. So anyhow, so what I can tell you is my mom instilled at a very early age is, dynamite comes in small packages. That's what she told me. I remember her telling me that at like 4 years old. Because, I was obviously small at 4 and 5. I was always typically the smallest kid in my class, always. And I never derived my identity from, my stature. I derived my identity in the fact that I love other people and I care about them. I believe that I saw my dad, being an entrepreneur and being successful. And I realized that, hey, you know what? He didn't have a college degree then. Yeah. He's since gone back, over the age of 60.
He got one for fun.
Yeah, he got a bachelor's degree over the age of 60 and then got a master's degree in history from Sam Houston. Oldest student at Sam Houston at the time to walk the stage that fall semester or spring semester. And so at 75 years old, walked the stage and got a master's. And so what I recognize is that, you know what? Most people's power comes from what's going on between the ears. Yeah. It's that self-talk. And if I can do it, you can do it too. And I can tell you that just going back to 2010, March of 2010, I was facing, what some people would call a crisis, a disaster, really. Yeah. And that I had spent a good 5 years of my life developing this plan, this idea, thinking outside the box, creating, this business that was a wholesale health insurance agency. And most people go, wholesale, wait, what? And you've heard of, a car insurance agency, a homeowners insurance agency, people know Allstate agencies, independent agents, all that kind of stuff. I had a health insurance agency, but had at one time was like a retail agent calling on small business owners and things like that, but grew that to recruiting and training agents on how to do that. Almost like building in real estate terms, a really large, imagine having 110 agents in a real estate brokerage.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That would be a lot. But my goal was, and that was in 7 states, and my goal was to get licensed in 40 states and to have like 5,000 agents. So that my job was recruiting and training health insurance agents. We had a very unique product, one of the best products on the marketplace, and then boom, the Affordable Care Act passed, and I was out of business in 30 days. And so I can just tell you, I felt all the emotions that any person would feel. I felt fear. Oh my God. I felt doubt. People hear me talk sometimes. They're like, "Wait, you were afraid? You doubted?
You're not immune to that stuff?"
No.
What?
No. It's like one of the things I recognize is I don't show that side of myself enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes people come to the event and they'll see me. I do get emotional at times.
Yeah.
Especially when I talk about some people that I've helped, or when I start talking about the guys that are the crews that when I look at in our industry, they say that real estate is really easy. It's the people that make it hard. And I don't mean that it's the contractors, and I don't mean like the general contractors. I mean the tile layers, the guys that are the painters. I mean, if you ever look if you've ever painted a house, you get done with that one house and you're like, whew, man, I'm glad I don't have to do that for another 20 years.
Yeah.
Imagine if, you get finished painting a house.
And you get to go right to another one.
Yeah, you finish on Thursday, and then, you're like, oh, the weekend's almost here, and then Friday, guess what? You're starting another house, and it's prep work, it's taping, it's floating. I mean, it's just, and then guess what? You get done with that house, you're on that job for 4 days, and then you wake up the next morning, and you just start another house. And you do that day in and day out, and day in and day out, or the tile guys. In years past, I've been in different businesses, sometimes where we would do a booth at a trade show or something like that, and I always appreciated when I was in an industry where whatever I'm displaying is relatively lightweight.
The people displaying tile have a crappy job to set up.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? Yeah, when you go do the home show, and you're the tile guy. Man, you got to bring all the different display boards, or the brick guy. The guy that's sampling all the different types of bricks.
Not fun.
Not fun at all. And my brother at one time was in the piano moving business, and that's not a business that I was like, wow, of all the tough businesses, because. So anyhow,
if you're gonna move anything, piano's about as awkward as it can get.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and that and mattresses. Mattresses are tough because not only are they heavy, but it's hard to.
They're not sturdy.
They're not stiff enough, really. The box springs, they're not so bad.
We got one of the purple mattresses.
Yeah, sure, right. It's perfect when it's all in the vacuum.
We decided to open it up in the living room.
Oh, that's bad. I see the train coming.
It took me and my wife. I didn't read the instructions. Of course not. You know me well enough.
Because I think the instructions say, "Hey, don't open this package till you get it in the room."
I probably should have set it on top of the box spring and opened it there. It took me and my wife about 3 hours.
That's what you'll do the next time.
Absolutely. It took us about 3 hours to get it from the living room onto the bed. It was an absolute nightmare.
Well, one of the things that I talked about last night with this gal from the brush, what is it, Incredible Brush or
Extreme Underbrush?
Yeah, there you go. Thanks. With Extreme Underbrush, one of the things that I was talking with her about is I said, hey, there's some things that you need to know, even as a rookie. If there were 2 or 3 things that I that you've got to know right up front. One is playing small ball can actually cost you money.
Yes.
And she goes, what do you mean? I said, well, a lot of times people, what they're trying to do is they want to buy a relatively inexpensive house, buy a house for like around $70,000, and something that needs kind of a small rehab, maybe $20,000 or less, some light carpet, light paint, some touch-up stuff, right? Yeah. And then, so I'm all in for like $90,000, and then maybe I sell it for like $120,000. And I said, so she goes, yeah, that sounds reasonable. And I go, because it sounds like you're going to make $30,000 on that deal.
Yeah, it does.
And I said, but here's the problem: is you don't realize that you're going to have a 10% selling cost, which out of that 130, now you're down to like 108. So you got the spread between 90 and 108, and that didn't count your closing costs on the buy side. That didn't count your holding costs. That didn't count your profit.
Yeah.
And I said, and the problem is if you've only got a $20,000 rehab, let's say it's a 2,000 square foot house, that's like a $10 a foot rehab, which means that if you buy it, you haven't really allowed for any oops.
Yep.
And I promise you probably haven't built in that the roof needs to be done, or the foundation might need some work, or that the supply line or drain line plumbing might need to be done, or that the HVAC might need to be replaced.
Yeah.
Well, the HVAC, I walked through the house and it was
nice
cooling.
And cool, yeah, but it's 16 years old.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is that it may be cooling and working fine, but when it goes through the inspection process and that retail buyer sees the inspection report and they go, wait, yeah, it's cooling, but it's a 16-year-old air conditioning system.
You're not going to pay full retail with a 16-year-old.
What happens is the inspector says, look, I'm not an air conditioning. He's a generalist, right? He's like the GP of the doctor world, right? His goal is to test everything and just point out some potential problems.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to bring in the expert. Well, now who's the expert of air conditioning? I mean, an air conditioning company. And what's their job? Their job is to sell ACs. So they don't make money checking out AC systems.
Yeah, no.
They make money and go, well, really.
If we just tune this thing up, it'll last another 16 years.
No.
Said nobody ever.
Said no, not any air conditioning guy, right?
Yeah.
And so he's going to say, well, it's 16 years old, and it's kind of cooling, but I detected a slight leak, and it's a little low on refrigerant, and I can replace that, but it's just going to leak again. And if it were my house, I'd probably replace the whole thing. And like, well, there's $5,000 that wasn't in your $20,000 budget. So I told her, I was like, hey, I'd rather buy a house that has a $70,000 rehab budget, because then I'm building in the foundation needs work, and the plumbing needs work, and the roof needs to be replaced, and the air conditioning needs to be replaced. And now there's no surprises. Like, we're doing the air conditioning, like, oh, I didn't guess what? The air conditioning is I built that into the budget. I was counting on that on the front end.
No surprises.
No surprises. And then the other thing is, I said, hey, look, you want to flip houses? She goes, well, I've got a house right now. It's in Cleveland. It's out on 10 acres. We custom built it about 5 years ago, and I'm having a tough time selling it.
You don't say.
And I said, well, I don't buy houses like that, because that's kind of a one-off kind of house.
Yeah.
It's really a specialty. First off, how many people will say, wake up this morning, go, I was just really kind of thinking about, of all the places I could move to, Cleveland, Texas.
Yeah.
That, man.
Better than Cleveland, Ohio.
Says not many people, though, right? I mean, in terms of...
Yeah, I'm looking for a custom-built house.
People say, I'd like to move into the Heights, like to move into Garden Oaks, like to move into the West U, like to move into Bel Air. Nobody says not when I say nobody. I mean, I take a random sample of 1,000 people. Remember when Richard Dawson and now who's the comedian that does the Family Feud thing? Survey audience. We surveyed 100 people.
Steve Harvey.
Yes,
Steve Harvey.
You're right. Surveyed 100 people, and the survey says. 2 people out of 100 might want to move to Cleveland. Conroe, I could see. Cleveland, not so much. So she's got 10 acres in Cleveland with this new construction house, and I said the problem is you got to find that really one unique buyer that wants to move there, that wants to live on 10 acres out in the middle of nowhere, right? And she goes, yeah, but it's so peaceful and quiet. And I said, yeah, but trouble is that somebody could go buy 10 acres and build a new house, not a 5-year-old house that they want, right?
Yeah.
She goes, well, I don't want to sell it for less than what it's worth. And I said, well, what does that mean exactly? Because what it's worth is what you're willing to sell it for. And and I said, what I want to do in terms of flipping a house is I'd like to see that the house next door is just like mine, and then the house next door to that it's like I want to be in a subdivision where it's really easy for me to say that this house, like mine, the only difference between my house and that house is that my house has avocado green shag carpet, and it needs a new roof, and it's got avocado green appliances and avocado green or harvest gold.
And you can remedy those, right?
And I can remedy all of that, but the house, next door had an updated kitchen and updated bathrooms and updated flooring and updated light fixtures and plumbing fixtures and a new roof and all of that, and it sold for $300,000.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, well, if I make my house look like that, my house will be worth $300,000.
Yes.
So then we also talked about that, hey, if we're comparing investors, like what kind of properties do buy and hold investors like versus what should flip investors like, and if those ever overlap, buy and hold guy always wins.
Always.
Never want to compete as a flipper. And we talked about that.
If you can't figure out the value of a property, your buyer's not going to be able to figure out the value of a property either. So
that's correct.
We'll continue to talk about this on the other side of the break. Please stick around.
Absolutely. Hey, Ben, welcome to the show. Dad, Paul, what's going on? Nora, welcome.
Shout out to Ben. Ben got married this weekend.
Did
Congratulations.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. So he got married this weekend. Today's Wednesday.
Hello,
Why is he not on his honeymoon? Why is he watching our
a lender
show?
that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your
Come on,
investment
Ben.
properties? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals.
There was a couple in the yard last time I was there.
872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110.
Mike's on.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Texting a person that's you talk real quick and
So the topic of today's show is, what do you need? What is it that is, and for a lot of people it's never really what they think it is. It's what they've created in their mind that's their roadblock. And what I can tell you is that most people are typically on the wrong page of the story when they're trying to come up with a reason. How do I know it's a deal? It's as simple as monthly rent minus monthly debt. So if you're talking about rentals, we got a question on Instagram. It says, how do I know if something's a deal? Is it as simple as monthly rent minus monthly debt? So there's a lot of different things that go into that. What are the repairs? How much do you need out of pocket to finance a deal up front? Are you getting any equity in the deal?
Well, in fact, that's one of the things
that your cash on cash
that our Tuesday night event talks about. But just to answer that question briefly, we have a deal analyzer, and it's part of being one of our members at Right Path Real Estate. And the way that we evaluate a deal on the buy and hold side is we look at how much money do you have out of pocket. And it's not unusual to be $25,000 or $30,000 of out of pocket on a property nowadays. And then we look at how much cash on cash return. You know, if you were buying a property in California or places like that, you know, you could be $30,000 or more out of pocket, and the property does not cash flow monthly on a positive basis. So we're typically looking for somewhere $250, maybe a little bit less than that if we're less money out of pocket, up to $300 a month in positive cash flow.
Correct.
So if we're at $300 a month of cash flow and we've been out of pocket $30,000, and then everything else is covered in our mortgage, and so we calculate in the principal, the interest, the taxes, the insurance, the HOA if there is one, and then also property management.
Yep.
Now, lenders don't look at the property management fee in terms of when they're looking at what they call a DSCR, but we put in $100 a month for property management fee, even though our property manager, Property Care, one of our radio show sponsors, they charge $85 a month per door.
Absolutely.
But we budget in $100, so let's say that I'm making $300 a month after all of that, then I'm going to be at 12% cash on cash.
Which is a great return.
Which for a lot of people, that's fantastic. But the other thing that we look at is that properties in that 150-ish price range have been appreciating at about 7% per year.
Yeah.
And if I'm leveraged 5 to 1, and that's one of the biggest issues. It's hard to get leveraged 5 to 1 because of fees and other things. Oftentimes we're seeing like a 4 to 1 leverage.
Yeah.
And so even at a 4 to 1 leverage, that means that I'm at 28% on appreciation, based on
Yeah.
leveraged appreciation. Because for every dollar that I have in the property, the bank has another $4 in the property, and or on a 4-to-1 leverage, it's 3-to-1, right? So if I'm getting 7% appreciation, but I'm leverage 4-to-1, then I'm getting 28%. So 28 plus the 12. Now I'm at 40% rate of return.
You can do okay on that.
I mean, that's so that's really what we look at. Is it's the rental rate of the neighborhood minus principal, interest, taxes, which is debt service, plus taxes and insurance, plus HOA, plus property management.
Yeah.
Because we think that you shouldn't manage property.
No, and a lot of
yourself.
people, I talked a lot about this yesterday, people trying to do all those things themselves to save money.
Yeah.
And in the long run, you end up costing yourself more because you're not a 10 at analyzing the rental market. You're not a 10 at placing tenants. You're not a 10 at running background checks.
Right.
You're not a 10 at handling problems as they arise in rental properties. So you want to have somebody that is. Otherwise, you're going to end up costing yourself a lot more money by making a mistake in one of those areas.
Yep. And then, but that's not the only part of the rate of return, because there's 5 different ways that you make money in real estate.
Yes.
And so the fact that, most of the time, if you were to say make 12% rate of return on an investment, then you would immediately take taxes out of that 12%. But because of the depreciation portion, that in most cases, when you're using leverage, it doesn't work the same way if you buy a house for cash.
Correct.
Because your cash flow goes up, but you don't. Your depreciation numbers don't offset your cash flow to the same amount. And if you want to understand that more, you can email support@rightpathrealestate.com, support@rightpathrealestate.com, and get a link for last night's live webinar. And we go into detail in that 45-minute presentation about how to evaluate. And,
Yeah.
and we talk about all 5 ways to make money in real estate. And I love, remember, it's A, B, C, D, E.
I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
cool. You flip the
B to a P.
around, the
Mhm.
B to a P.
Yep, right. And so, anyhow, we'll talk more about that on another show. But essentially, when we get the appreciation, that's huge. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest wealth building.
That's where wealth is created.
Absolutely. You get the depreciation, you get the cash flow, the cash on cash return. You get the pay down of the mortgage, not by you. That's not a monthly expense for you. That's paid for by your.
So you're building up equity month after month.
Yeah,
And
right.
the longer that's rented, the more equity you'll build year after year.
And then you also have the equity capture.
Yes.
And so that's, most of the time we're capturing, $30,000, $30,000. So sometimes what'll happen is you may be $20,000 out of pocket, but you're actually capturing $40,000 of equity.
So
to
you
20
immediately increase your wealth by $20,000 day
You're
one.
which is doubling. That's
Yes.
100% rate of return the day
Happens
you
all
buy
the
the
time.
property, right? Which is, it's hard to go broke when you're doubling your money
It
on a
is.
transaction. I mean, just the moment it literally it'd be like buying an Exxon stock, and you were buying it for 50 cents on the dollar, and it just that'd be phenomenal. Speaking of stocks. So I dropped my daughter off yesterday at volleyball practice, and then I needed to get a spark and pick up something from the townhouse. And so so the market was closing. It was like right about 4 o'clock.
Okay.
The bell was about to ring, right? And so flipped on CNBC or whatever the financial news network is, and saw them recommend this particular stock that was a real estate play.
Okay.
And there's this particular company. And their niche is that they buy pieces of property around the country in like 20 different states right now, and their specialty is that they lease to cannabis growing operations, right?
Okay.
In the states where that's legal.
Yeah.
So that's their little niche, right? And so right now their market cap is over $1 billion, like $1.01 billion, and they've increased in value like 140% this year. And there was an analyst, still giving it a strong buy. I mean, even though it's gone up 135%. So I'm like, the exercise that we do about the flower shop and $1 million of profit. So what do you think the PE ratio is on that particular company? Because
If I had to guess, I'd say 37.
So here's what's interesting is they actually I saw a new term that I haven't seen before. that they gave a PE based on trailing, like what's their past performance. In other words, that would be like an actual PE, right? Like here's the profit that it's made, and the actual PE versus they gave a projected PE, which is like going off of a pro forma, which, you know, I mean, it'd be like me saying, oh, yeah, you know, Houston House Buyers, we're going to do $500 million in profit next year. Well, I mean, yeah, good luck with that, right? So it was actually a 37 on projecteds, but the PE was over 100 on actuals. And what that means is last year they made $10 million in profit, and they're selling for $1 billion. And I was like, oh my God, I would love to know how many people have their money, which hedge funds, which pension funds have run this stock price up to where it's $1 billion market cap, and they made $10 million last year.
Wow.
Yeah, so the PE ratio on that was 100.
I didn't even know that was such a thing.
Yeah, so can you imagine having some company, you grow like a machine shop? Yeah, we made $10 million in profit last year. You know, about $800,000 a month, right? In profit, which would be that'd be a good solid company.
Yeah.
And it would probably sell for, you know, maybe 15, 20, $25 million. But can you imagine if somebody said, well, let's just blow that off. Let's
buy it for $100 million.
No, how about $1 billion? It's $1 billion.
Yeah, even worse.
$1 billion.
Sorry. Oh my God.
$1 billion for $10 million of profit. You know, it takes somebody with an MBA to make the numbers like that work.
That's crazy to me.
You know, only an MBA in finance would be able to figure out a way to justify that, because that's what this lady had. And I'm like, you know, the American people are so financially illiterate that the people that it's almost like I feel like people with MBAs are kind of looking down on the average Americans. And what I can tell you is, you know what, the math is just not that hard. It's like you don't really have to understand what a derivative is. You don't have
you don't have to get in the complex part of it.
Which is really, a derivative is nothing more than something that derives its value from something else.
Yeah.
You know, like if you know that you can buy a share of Exxon stock, or 100 shares is typically the block. That's how it's sold, is 100 shares at a time. You can buy broken blocks, etc. Or I can buy an option to buy the stock, right? Yeah. And that means that option derives its value off of the price of the share. As the share of stocks goes up, the option to buy at a particular price point goes up as well, or goes down if it falls, etc. Yeah. So that's how complicated a derivative is. So any mutual fund is essentially a derivative because it's deriving its value based on what it owns. I mean, even Berkshire Hathaway is nothing but a derivative in that which is a hedge fund. Every hedge fund is a derivative in that it manages people's money and puts people in funds. And so it's
2 minutes.
But they use these terms to try and make it complicated, so that they
you
say,
off from learning
hey,
yourself.
don't look at what's going on behind the mirror. And that's one of the things that I love about real estate. It is simple addition and subtraction.
It's transparent.
It's very transparent. Any third grader could figure out the math. But I wonder, who are the people that are putting people's money in something that only made $10 million last year? And how in the world can you say that $10 million worth of profit is worth $1 billion?
Yeah, it's people that don't have anybody to answer to, right? Because how much is the bonus they're getting?
Yeah.
When they move the money into that stock, they got to charge management fees, right? Mm-hmm. And did the company give a kickback bonus?
Yeah.
Of course.
Right.
And nobody's questioning it.
Nobody. Nope. Yeah, in fact, this lady is like, oh man, it's performed so well. The stock is, and this is one of the things that I see that financial people talk about all the time, is that how the stock has performed, not necessarily how the business
how's the
has
company
performed.
performing? We're talking about the stock. What's the company doing?
Yeah, because the question is really on a like Tesla, for example, the stock has done really well at times.
Yeah.
And then it lost like a third of its value a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And full disclosure, I'm never owning Tesla stock. Don't have any of my money in stocks at all. I'm strictly in real estate. But, okay, so the stock can do what it does, but how's the company doing? Is the company making money?
Yeah.
And there's a difference between, is the company making money on a per transaction basis, or and are they taking the profits and are they losing because of expansion? That's how Amazon did.
Absolutely.
So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. Want to get back to real estate, talk about what do you need to know in order for you to do your first deal. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. I'll be right back in 2 or 3 minutes. Stay tuned. Oh man.
Time is
Did a
money
good
in a
strong
real estate
core
deal.
workout.
If your insurance company is
Did
slow
my
or non-responsive,
my
you could
the
lose
back
a
of
deal
my delts
like that.
Did my
You need a
upper
quick
back.
turnaround on quotes
Oh man,
or
I'm
binders.
gonna be
The agency for
sore
that is
and
Benchmark
tight
Insurance and
tomorrow.
Protection. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Hello, real estate
Rubber back
investors.
first.
Yeah, right.
You need a lender that
Till
moves
guys.
fast at the speed of a jet to fund your
Right.
investment properties. Jet Lending will help
We're
you
working on it.
purchase properties quickly with this little
And
cash
then they
out
will.
pocket
I mean, they'll
Of
jump
course,
in
yeah,
and
absolutely.
it'll be
Lending also
overdone in
sets up
30
a
days.
repair escrow fund
What's so
to help
crazy
you
is he's
with
got to
repair
know
costs.
it's been the turd of the
Jet
neighborhood
Lending has
for
originated
what,
over
years?
2,000
Right.
loans in Texas,
And so it's kinda
valued
like-
at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
Are you
1
looking
minute.
for an investor-friendly general
Yeah.
contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on
you
the
get
web
further in
at
life with sugar, right?
fasttrackremodeling.com.
Get more bees with honey.
Fast
That's
Track
right.
Remodeling specializes in
And,
turnkey remodeling of
'cause
single-family investment
don't most people
properties.
hate
Whether it's a flip
interacting
rehab
with them?
or a rental
Oh, yeah,
rehab,
absolutely.
we
Yeah,
manage
like,
every
for sure.
aspect of a rehab from
And
start
so
to finish.
normally
with a
the
highly
reaction
efficient
starts off
standard
almost
Yeah, of course.
contentious.
Almost
Over the last 6
confrontational.
years,
Yeah, right.
Fast
And I'm
Track
like-
has completed over 700
You know, because how many
projects,
people would respond,
which has helped us to
"Hey,
create
don't you
our
get?
3
We
keys
just
to
got this,
success."
you know, like
Use a detailed
defensive,
scope
right?
of work so that everything
You
gets
never
done.
say anything to the last
Train and
people.
maintain
Yeah, right,
quality
yeah.
crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today
10
at
seconds.
832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110. Mike's on.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio. So, you know, I wake up every morning, and one of the things that I do is I make a list of the things that I need to do for the day.
Yeah.
And also I get laser focused on what are the things that I have control over today. And, like, do I have control over the weather?
You don't.
No. So I'm like, hey, I don't care what the weather is. I mean, I look outside. Like, I rode my motorcycle this morning
Yeah.
to go to the workout, and I didn't ride it to the office today,
Okay.
but to the workout and back. You know, and so I looked outside to see is it raining because I won't
Yeah.
I will not ride it in the rain. And then so that's. But in terms of it's raining today. Ooh.
Yeah, day's ruined.
Day's ruined. No, and so I look at what are the things that I have control over today. You know what everybody has control over, but very few people actually control is their attitude.
Of course.
And I have to say, I heard very one time. I'm trying to remember how old I was when I heard it. It had to be maybe high school, early college. You know, your attitude determines your altitude.
Yes. Your attitude, not your aptitude,
Det-
will determine your altitude.
Yes, and I have to say, I know so many people that when I just watch them walking around. I mean, even in this building, you
Yeah.
see people walking around. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, they're just
Yeah,
kind of
slumping through life, hating everything.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I figured out pretty early on because, like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, if I could only be a kid again. Like, I don't want to be a kid again.
Right,
Like,
no,
there was a large part of that sucked.
Yeah.
Right? But I learned, even through the crappy times and things like that, you can still enjoy your day. You can still
As
be.
a kid, I got bullied a lot.
Yeah.
Shocker, right? And but I haven't been bullied since since college. I mean, since college began and beyond. Really, I've not really been bullied as an adult. Not been bullied. That's not an invitation.
Yeah. I'll stay behind you right here.
But it's like I don't want to go back to being a kid again.
Yeah.
Now I wouldn't mind. In fact, I actually don't. I like the age that I am now.
Yeah.
I like my life now. There's a lot of things that I wouldn't want to go back and relive. Now, if you had a time machine, sometimes people ask, what would you tell your younger self, knowing what you know now? Yeah, of course, there's lots of things, but it's like, do I have control over that?
You don't.
No. So do I give any focus or attention to that?
No.
No.
But you can. For me, it's always been. It's been like one of the craziest things. You get to choose.
Yes.
And I've just never really, anytime I'm given a choice, I always choose the more enjoyable thing.
Right, absolutely.
Always.
Right.
Well, not necessarily the more, because given the choice between a steak and, a salad,
sure.
I'm choosing the salad because it's better, right?
Right.
But I always try to make the best decision.
Although, here's the thing is that short term, because, short
term versus long term, absolutely.
Right, short term you may enjoy the steak more, but long term, when you're 75 years old and you're physically active and all.
Or alive.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's
or alive.
Right.
That's a plus.
Yeah, right.
So it's like I always try to choose the best option.
Yeah.
I've never woke up and all right, so today I can be in a good mood or a bad mood. I'm gonna go with bad mood today.
Yeah, but see, here's the deal: is
somebody
cut you off.
Cut me off. Now my day's done.
Oh man. Oh gosh, I wish I would have had a great day if I would have
had a great day. But now, that's one of the things I love about Gary Vee.
Oh,
He's
yes.
like, the minute you start realizing that everything is your fault,
yes,
you are completely free.
And I love the way he phrases that. Not your responsibility, not your...
not in control. It's your fault.
It's your fault.
Yes.
And that fault normally has a negative connotation.
Yes.
Like, oh, you did that. This is your fault. This bad thing that happened is your fault,
yes.
right? But fault could be positive, right?
Yeah. It's like, hey, you got cut off in traffic. You should have left 2 minutes earlier.
Yes, that's your fault.
That guy wouldn't have been there if you'd have left 2 minutes
You'd
earlier.
have been following a little closer to the guy behind you.
Yeah.
in front of you.
Everything's
I'm
your
not
fault.
recommending that. Yeah. So anyhow, when you discover that you are in your life where you are because of every decision that you've made and is 100% your fault, the good news is that now you start taking responsibility. You start making better choices. You start saying, hey, what can I learn today that will help me change my tomorrow?
Yes.
And it's because it's the things that you do today that make your better future. And what I can tell you is that if I can do it, you can too. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing. I just wake up every morning just like you do. The only difference is I choose to be positive. I choose to make a positive difference in other people's lives. I choose to add value to other people's lives. I choose to learn something today that I didn't know yesterday.
Yeah.
So when you're continuing to grow, when you're continuing to make a difference, when you're choosing to do those kind of things, then life just changes. Watch the movie The Secret.
Yeah.
Go to Netflix or Amazon. Get the movie The Secret. It's amazing. It's about the law of attraction. You need to do it. It's not about being attractive. It's about attracting positive things in your life. We love you.
Being attractive don't hurt either.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.
You have a good day.
You've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio.
Yeah, Mama, no.
Find
I was gonna
Tom
say,
at
Mama, he's dancing.
rightpathrealestate.com. You can put the fear behind you and listen every day from 9 to 10 a.m. on Business 1110 KTEK.
Are you